Hello and welcome to Nexus. This week we'll be travelling around Australia, looking at some of this country's greatest tourist attractions and destinations. So what's on the show today? We'll visit Darwin's Mindil Beach Market, travel back to the days of the paddle steamers, then take a spin in a modern-day watercraft. And don't forget to watch out for this symbol. It means there's a special focus on English language learning from the story on our website. But first, you'll see big four-wheel drives everywhere in Australia's outback. Many of them are driven by tourists keen to get to some of the more remote areas. An organisation called Desert Knowledge has started a project to find out more about these four-wheel drive tourists, both to help the tourist industry and the fragile environment.
On Track is one of the core projects of the Desert Knowledge Cooperative Research Centre, and it's designed to actually understand the four-wheel drive market. Lots known about tourists, but not so much about that particular segment of the market who come to places like this to enjoy Australia.
Four-wheel driving in Australia all started after the Second World War with the little Woolies Jeep. The Jeep, and then Land Rover came along in '54, I think. Basically, they were brought in as farm vehicles, a working vehicle. The Snowy Mountain scheme in Australia actually brought in a whole heap of Land Rovers and Toyotas. And then they started to say, well, you know, we can make these things not quite like a horse-drawn dray that's as rough as guts to drive in and make them more into a car, whereas these days, you know, a four-wheel drive station wagon is as comfortable as anything.
Well, what we've been trying to understand is how many of these people are out here, what they're doing, why they want to be here, where they want to go, what kinds of experience they want to have while they're here.
So far we've done a few short trips and it's been really great. When we retire I can see us just going around Australia, basically having a great time. Vroom is the name of our modelling piece of software, and we think that's pretty catchy and interesting to people. Cars make noises, they go vroom vroom. Vroom stands for visualising relatively unpredictable movements. So it's about the unpredictable tourist who's out there, who's charted their own destiny, and we want to understand where they're going and why. The whole four-wheel drive community is involved in our research, so it's everybody from the person who has a four-wheel drive, wants to go on holidays. It's the four-wheel drive clubs who people come together because they feel safer when they're travelling together. It's the entrepreneurs who run tag-along tours, those sorts of things. It's the tourist operators who are actually out in remote locations providing services to these people. And it's the Aboriginal communities who are often in the very remote places where these four-wheel drive tourists want to go.
Tag-along tour is where I take my vehicle with my people and then you follow me in your car. And basically you're self-sufficient as far as food and fuel and camping equipment and all that sort of stuff. I take all the car repair equipment, you know, contingency stuff like rations and extra fuel and water, and if something happens we can get you out of strife.
Way out in Heartbreak Corner in Australia's far outback, the desert broods its secrets along the Birdsville track.
It's a hands-on thing and a good way to experience some of the remote parts of the country. And I mean, a really remote, you know, like 2 days from any town or station or anything like that.
Has claimed so many men.
Four-wheel drive tourism is particularly important to desert communities because, you know, we've got extremely beautiful country out here and we'd like to share it with people. One of the things that we do know from the surveys that we've done is that four-wheel drivers are looking for an authentic Aboriginal experience.
The project that we're doing with Lindsay Bookie, who's an Aboriginal traditional owner of Fletcher Land Trust, or part of it out here on the top edge of the desert. And he's got this patch of dirt that he didn't really want to use it for cattle. And I went and had a look at it, and one of the most perfect four-wheel drive venues that you could ever get. You know, it's like a mecca. You know, it's got this variety, it's got the river, it's got, you know, the desert, the dunes, and actually got him there so that he can tell you all about, you know, the history and the Aboriginality side of it, which is great. And I just love going somewhere where I'm the first one there, you know, for a long, long time. There's no road in front of me, it's behind me. And you get up on top of the sand dunes, and as far as you can see, there's nothing, and you say, well, you know, I'm pretty insignificant out here, I'm very isolated, I'm this tiny speck. You know, a lot of people say, what the hell do you see in the desert? Mate, you start looking, you find all sorts of things in the desert. Fabulous.